Good morning. Or actually afternoon. This is the Algebra 2 Lesson 41 video lesson. Okay, the different things that we're going to go through first off is our warm-up. Looking at the vocabulary, what is the square root of 75? Is it a rational expression or a radical expression? It would be a radical. Simplify the square root of 300. So that means you have to find all the prime factors. So 3 times 10 times 10. You can take those out, so you have 10 square roots of 3. Okay, we have to expand x minus 5, quantity squared. You do the FOIL or the shortcut. So you'd have x squared. Shortcut is to take the 2 times the 5 times the x. So that'd be negative 10x, and then plus 25 for squaring the negative 5. Solve x squared plus 7x minus 10 by factoring. You'd have to go x squared plus 7x plus 10 by getting it all over the other side, and then you can do your 2 sets of parentheses. So this would be an x, this would be x. The factors of 10 that when you add them together you get 7, that's 5 and 2. And they'll both be positive. So there's your factoring. Okay, the things that we're going to be working on today is a right triangle is a triangle with one right angle. Seems pretty reasonable, that one. The sides that form the right angles are called the legs, and the side opposite is the hypotenuse. Okay, this is one of the things we can go to visualize the Pythagorean theorem. You can go through on grid paper, draw a right triangle so the base is 3 squares long, and the height is 4 squares. So what they're doing is they're talking about something like this. So you have 3 squares, so that would be 9 there, and if the other one was 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So this one is 9, and the other one is 16. Then over here, this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 25. So you can go through and find that, and you cut out the squares. So if you took this one and put all those squares over there, you'd get 25 of them. And they're just showing that you can do that by doing it with the pictures. Okay, because the area of a square is found by squaring the length of one side of the square, the result of the exploration suggests the Pythagorean theorem. The converse of this is also true. So if the Pythagorean theorem is, if the triangle is a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs equal the square of the length of the hypotenuse. That's where we get the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The converse of that is switching around. If the sum of the squares of the 2 shorter sides of a triangle equals the square of the length of the longest side, then it's a right triangle. So you can go both ways. Okay, looking at my first example here. Determine if a triangle is a right triangle. One way to do is the sides of the triangle measures 15, 36, and 39. Is the triangle a right triangle? Well, if you have 15 squared plus 36 squared equals 39 squared. So you have to go through and find out if those read true. 15 squared is 225. 36 squared is 1296. And 39 squared is 1521. Okay, adding these both together, that is 1521. It does equal, so then you can say that this is yes. Okay, second example there. Sides of the triangle measure 21, 70, and 75. Is this triangle? So a squared plus b squared equals c squared, so 21 squared plus 70 squared, does that equal 75 squared? Okay, what's 21 squared? 441. 70 squared, 7 times 7 is 49 with 2 zeros. Okay, And 75 times 75 is 5625. Okay, adding these together, we get 5341. Does not look like it equals that, so this would be no. Okay, find the length of the missing side of the right triangle. Going through and doing your Pythagorean theorem again. That's A and that's B. So x squared plus 24 squared equals 30 squared. Whenever you have it where you have this right away, you know you're going to be subtracting that. So what's 30 squared minus 24 squared? And you can do that on your calculator. And you would get 324. Oops, go back. Get 324. Remember, you have to square root that too. So that would be 18. Okay, find it on Y. If you have a drawing, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to the Y squared. So 36 plus 64 is 100. And when you square root that, you get 10. Next, find the value of Z in this picture. Well, count how many you got here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on that side. So 4 squared plus 8 squared. 16 plus 64. Add those together, you get, that's 0, carry the 1, 6, 7, 80. What's the square root of 80? So you can use, if we went through it and this one, it said simple radical form, n to the nearest tenth. So first off, this is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And we got 1, 2, so that's 4 square roots of 5. So that's in the radical form. And if you did it just in the calculator, you'd get about 8.9. All right. So going through on that was using the Pythagorean theorem on that. Now you can also use that thing for using the distance formula. And here on this diagram here, we were going through and counting the blocks on here. If you didn't have those to count, you would just take and use it where you'd have the x minus the x squared plus the y minus the y squared. So that's how they got the distance formula. And of course, you had to square root it after that. Okay, so if they just gave us this part, what would be the distance between that? So you have -4 minus 1 squared plus 11 minus a -1. I square that. So let's see, this is -5. -5 squared is 25. This would go plus and plus. That's 12. 12 squared is 144. Add those two together. What did you get when you added them together? It'd be 169. And then you have to square root that, which would be 13. So the distance between those 2 points is 13. And the distance will always be a positive number because you want to know how long it would be. Okay, going for this one, you have -6 minus a -2. I square that. Plus 5 minus a -7. Square that. So this would be plus, so that's -4. -4 squared is 16. This would be adding them together. That's 12. 12 squared is 144. Add those two together. 16 and 4 is 0. Carry the 1. 4, 5, 6. So you have 160. And what would be 160? And you square root that. Get about 12.6. if you did this one here in the radical form and the nearest tenth is the same thing. Here we'd have 8 times 2, so we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's for the 16, and then you have the 10, so a 2 times 5. This comes out, and this comes out, so we have 4 square roots of 10. That is the radical form. Okay, find the missing coordinate. Now we're going backwards using the distance formula. That's the distance is equal to the square root of x minus x quantity squared plus y minus y quantity squared. If we put in the information we have, we know that this one is a 4. The x's, and we'll square root that. The x's was 2 minus a negative 2, that quantity squared, plus the y's, k minus 8 quantity squared. So that's putting in all the information. If we go through and find out what we got 4 is equal to the square root of 2 minus a negative 2 is plus 2, so that means 4 squared, so that's 16 plus k minus 8 quantity squared. We need to go through now and get rid of the square root, so that means you got to square both sides. And so this would be 16 is equal to 16 plus k minus 8. That's still in parentheses squared. We get rid of that, minus 16 to both sides. So you get 0 is equal to k minus 8 quantity squared. You want to get rid of the squared, so that means square root both sides. And you get 0 is equal to k minus 8. So k is going to equal 8. And there we have for that answer. Okay, let's try with a cartography. I can't talk today. A cartographer constructs a map of New Mexico over a grid system such as that Silver City is at 16,142 and Las Cruces is at 192 and 98. Find the distance between those. Well, we know that the distance is equal to the square root of 63 minus 192 quantity squared plus 142 minus 98 quantity squared. 63 minus 192, that one, when you subtract that, that's 129. We're still squaring that. Plus, you subtract those two, you get 44. That's going to be squared. When you square that, you get, it's a big number, 16641 plus 44 squared is 1936. Add those together and square root it, and you should get about 136. I'm rounding that to the nearest kilometer. So it'll be 136 kilometers between those two cities. Any questions on that so far? Okay. Going through, you're going to see if you can do these. Sides of a triangle measure 14, 20, and 25. Is it a right triangle? You need to go through and do the squaring. So 14 squared plus 20 squared. Does that equal 25 squared? So did they equal each other? Because 14 squared and 20 squared. So the sums do not equal each other. So that would be a no. Sides of the triangle are 12, 16, and 20. Is that? So try to go. It's 12 squared plus 16 squared. Does that equal 20 squared? So did you get them so that they equaled each other? So that would be yes. Okay, on this C, find the value of x. Here's your right angle. So this is the A and the B, or A and B, whichever one. So you have 9 squared plus x squared is equal to 15 squared. So going through 15 squared is 225. You have to subtract the 81. So what do you get? You should get 144. But then you have to square root that, and the answer would be 12. Okay, D. This one is showing the picture. So you have your, oops, gotta go back to that. So you have, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on there. So 4 squared plus 7 squared equals 16 plus 49. Add those together, you get 565. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, yep, 65. What do you got to do at that one? You got to square root it. So I'm going to find the value. It should be, let's see, 7 is 49. Yep. Should be about 17. Okay, E. Find the value of Z. Give the answer in the simplest radical form and then to the nearest tenth. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 squared plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 squared. So 64 plus 32. Add them together, you get 96. Got to square root it. Then you have to go through and find the prime factors. So let's see, 96. 96. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And together that's 96. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 96. What is the square root of 96? They're saying it's going to be about 4.5, but I can't see that. So let me check on my calculator here. We have 64 plus 32 equals, and square root it. Should be 9.8. Find the value of Z. All right. Okay, find the distance between each pair of points. So we're going to do the subtracting. So you go through and do that one. So 6 minus, minus negative 18 squared plus 9 minus negative 1 squared. So that adds together, so that's 24 squared plus 10 squared equals. So go through that and square root it, and what answer would you get? Did you get 26? Good job. Okay, for G, 5 minus 9, yeah, square that, plus negative 5 minus a negative 11, square that. So this would be 4 squared is 16, plus plus, so that's 6. 6 squared is 36. 16 plus 36 is 2, 4, 52. Then you have to square root 52. And you should get 7.2. Okay, I. Cartographer constructs a map of New Mexico over a grid system such that Silver City is at that point and Los Alamos is the other point. So we have to find that again. So we have 200 minus 225 squared plus 205 minus 287. Do that squared. Go through and run that one, put it equal, and then square root that answer. And you want to find the distance between the cities to the nearest kilometer. So from what you see on the calculator, round it to the nearest whole number, and you should get about 86 kilometers. All right. And let's go through and see. And this I just put up so that has the answers. 9 and, oh, looks like I must have skipped over H there. Okay. So we didn't do H, and I don't think I have any space here. So we're going to do H over here. So we're going to be doing this one. So we have the values of K, so the distance is 13. So 13 is equal to the square root of 1 minus 6 squared plus K minus -3, and that squared. All right. So we have 13 equals square root of 1 minus 6 is 5. 5 squared is 25 plus K plus 3 squared. Get rid of the square root sign, so that means we have to square this, so that's 169 equals 25 plus K plus 3, still a quantity squared. Subtract the 25, so that cancels, and 169 minus 25 is 144. So 144 is equal to K plus 3 quantity squared. You have to get rid of that, so you have to square root both sides. We get 12 is equal to K plus 3. So then subtract 3, so 9 is equal to K. And we have that answer. Oops. On this one here, because when you have the square root of 144, that 12 could either be a positive 12 or a negative 12. So if we do this part here as being with a negative 12, so negative 12 equals K plus 3. So when you subtract 3, then you could also get negative 15 is equal to K. So sometimes on that one, if you get a perfect square on that one, it could be the positive or the negative sign too. All right.